Good morning. It is Thursday, August 29th, and today is the memorial of the beheading of John the Baptist. This is Michigan Mornings from Ave Maria Radio and the Ave Maria Radio app. I'm Matthew Handley. Coming up, how do we discern God's plan for us? But first, your local weather and this news. Ford Motor Company is putting the brakes on its diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. It's the latest high-profile U.S. company to make such a move. Ford says it will no longer be participating in the annual Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equality Index and says it will stop using quotas for minority dealerships and suppliers. Recently, other companies like Lowe's, Harley-Davidson, and Tractor Supply all said they would also stop or cut back on certain DEI efforts. The companies have cited changing social and political environments in announcing their decisions. Police have arrested 4 Palestinian protesters after a group of them tried to disrupt a University of Michigan event yesterday. The 4 are not university students, but one is a temporary U of M employee. A group of 50 protesters were asked to disperse when they showed up at the Diag during Festival yesterday afternoon and began to demonstrate. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s name will remain on the ballots in Michigan and Wisconsin. Election officials in those swing states cite legal technicalities. The rulings come despite Kennedy ending his independent presidential campaign and endorsing former President Trump. Kennedy said he wants to remove his name from ballots in key battleground states to hopefully help Trump's electoral chances. Governor Gretchen Whitmer says the orange barrels on 60% of the road and bridge projects in the state will be moved to the side of the road starting tomorrow at 3 p.m. for the Labor Day weekend. The opening of the lanes will be in effect until 6 a.m. Tuesday to give people more lanes to get to their destinations. AAA Michigan says the mornings will be the best for people who are traveling for the holiday, and afternoon drives will be the most congested. The wreckage of a plane that crashed into Lake Huron in 2007 after taking off from the Mackinac Island Airport has been found. Debris in the body of the pilot were found 17 years ago, but the passenger and most of the plane remain lost. Great Lakes Search and Recovery founder Jim Schultz says they were asked by the pilot's family to search for the plane to bring them some closure. Pilot Karen Dodds and fiancé Brooke Stauffer were the 2 people who were on the plane. And former Congressman Bob Carr has died at the age of 81 after battling multiple myeloma for 17 years and esophageal cancer for nearly 3 years. Carr served 9 terms in the U.S. House as a Democrat, representing Ingham and Livingston counties, along with parts of Genesee, Shiawassee, Oakland, and Washtenaw counties. He left the House in 1995 after running unsuccessfully for the U.S. Senate in 1994. Carr was viewed in his career as a conservative Democrat. This is Michigan Mornings from Ave Maria Radio. Now this.
Teresa Tomeo.
Every time I go to Mass and see my husband serving on the altar as a deacon, it hits me how, with God, all things are possible. I mean, there is no way that we should be still married, number one, based on all the problems we had. But number two, the fact that I'm in Catholic media and my husband is a deacon is simply a testimony to the power of God and the teachings of the church that saved our marriage and, more importantly, our souls.
We'll have some patchy fog during our morning commute today in Detroit. That should clear up by 9 a.m. Otherwise, we'll have partly sunny skies and a high around 79. Tonight will remain partly cloudy and lows will dip to 66. Tomorrow, we'll have a chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms. It will be warmer with a high around 89. Saturday, showers are likely in the morning, but the afternoon should be mostly sunny with temperatures in the lower 80s. And Sunday should be sunny with highs in the lower 80s. We're going to have partly sunny skies today in Saginaw. Our high will be near 77. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low around 64. Tomorrow we'll see some afternoon showers and possibly a thunderstorm. It will be warmer and our high will be near 87. The rest of the holiday weekend looks nice. Saturday will be sunny with temperatures in the mid 80s, and Sunday will be sunny with highs around 80. God has a plan for every situation. But what do you do when you can't see that plan? Jacob Popchak, a counselor at CatholicCounselors.com, joined Dr. Greg and Lisa Popchak on More to Life.
So there are a couple of core truths that I think we all have to kind of grasp onto. I almost think of these as like the sort of crates or debris that we can hold on to when we're feeling kind of washed away in a flood. And it's important to kind of keep our hands on all of these truths when we are kind of washed away in that flood of confusion or anxiety or frustration that we don't really know where our lives are headed or why. The first thing that we have to remember, I think, is that God, we believe, before anything else that we believe about him, is love, right? And I think a lot of the time we prioritize other things above that, like this idea that he must have a plan for me, which if I take that as a secondary idea to the idea that God is love, is a really beautiful idea. But if I take that as a primary idea in front of the idea that God is love, then I can start to fall into traps like maybe God is keeping secrets from me and he wants me to guess what the plan is, and he's just leaving all these little signs that I'm not picking up.
It's the idea that if I can't figure out the plan, then maybe he doesn't really love me, as opposed to what you're suggesting, which is no, he really does love me and he's always working for my good. I need to recognize that first and see that he's got a plan for me, and that it's a matter of cooperating with it. Am I understanding you correctly there?
Yeah, but also that he's not going to keep any secrets from me. It's not like it's my job to kind of guess at or figure out what the plan is, because that's sort of what a manipulative, creepy person would do, is make you guess those things. And even if it feels maybe like God is doing that to you right now, that's your own earthly anxiety talking, because God is love, and genuinely loving people don't do that.
More great advice is coming up later today on More to Life at 10 a.m. right here on Ave Maria Radio. You can also listen on demand with the Ave Maria Radio app. St. BEDE the Venerable says to endure temporal agonies for the sake of the truth was not a heavy burden for men such as John. Rather, it was easily borne and even desirable, for he knew eternal joy would be his reward. That does it for this edition of Michigan Mornings. I'm Matthew Handley. You can stay connected with me on X. I'm at Radio Handley, and Lord willing, I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Until then, goodbye.